Hey everyone, Diavolo here, and today we're going over all 60 cursed tools and objects from the Playful Cloud and pretty much all of Maki's weaponry to the cursed wombs and Prism Realm-like objects inside of Jujutsu Kaisen. Just to clarify on what exactly a cursed tool or object is, because a bunch of the weapons we do see early on are just basic weapons. Cursed tools are weapons and supporting items used by Jujutsu sorcerers that are purposefully imbued with a curse. The strength of these tools will vary depending on the amount of curse energy and technique imbued into the tool. There are semi-cursed tools which usually focus on amplifying one's cursed energy through an item. When it comes to cursed objects, basically, it's an item with a messed up history that contains curse energy. Cursed objects are ranked in the same way as cursed tools, and the more dangerous one is, the higher rank it receives. Another interesting aspect to cursed objects is that by using a talisman and selling the special grade cursed object, it can be used as an amulet to ward off cursed spirits. Quickly, if you do want me to catch back up on Jujutsu Kaisen with another big story video, or just perhaps one going over the most recent stuff, then push this video to 5,521 likes. If you mash that out, then I'll dive back into JJK and catch up on the current destruction that's happening, cause oh my lord man. Of course as well, if you are new around here and interested in a bunch of similar content to this, as well as like story kind of content stuff, then do subscribe, as it really helps out with pushing my content to a bunch of new amazing people. Firstly, because I guess we just have less of these in the series, I'm going to kick things straight off with all of the cursed objects inside of Jujutsu Kaisen. Technically there are 3, but due to Sukuna being one of the most broken, if not the most broken creation in all of Jujutsu history, there comes a special edition. Plus, I'm just going to extrapolate the numbers out like crazy because there is numbers to specific objects, if that makes sense. Obviously we have the fingers, which there is 20 of. These 20 gross ass rubbery looking doorstops are special grade cursed objects from the King of Curses fingers. So I guess we kind of do have 23 objects in play here, but hey, I'm not going to go into detail on each damn finger because they all do the same thing. Using these fingers though, Sukuna was able to live on after his death, and as we all saw, eventually reincarnate through the goat himself, big frickin' Yuji. Sukuna never actually created these objects though, instead over 1,000 years he accepted Kenjaku's offer to participate in the culling game. As a part of the contract, Kenjaku divided Sukuna's soul into his 20 fingers and turned them into cursed objects, allowing Sukuna to live on after his death. Still sticking with Sukuna and continuing on to like the special edition we have, so far and to my knowledge this seems absolutely impossible for any other character to even do, but who knows what Hiten might do in the coming up months. What I'm speaking of is incarnation. We have a bunch of these for just like sorcerers in general who incarnate throughout the culling game. However, what's different here is that Sukuna turned himself into a cursed object. How he did this was that after experiencing death, he had managed to develop the knowledge to split his soul as cursed objects. Obviously this was like because of his fingers. He is him when it comes to understanding cursed energy, and having seen his fingers get turned into cursed objects by Kenjaku, he was able to do it himself. This here was then demonstrated during the culling game, when by imbuing all his cursed energy into Yuji's pinky finger and then forcing Megumi to eat it, was able to overtake Megumi's body. This quote always rings in my mind when like thinking of Sukuna, but when he was still a human, his surroundings were scared to death. He was known as the King of Curses, even before he became a cursed object. So when I started scripting this out, I thought there wasn't going to be too many different cursed objects, but technically we have 9 more cursed womb death paintings to add onto the list. Similar to Sukuna's individual fingers, I can't explain them all since after the first 3 we really have no information on the others apart from their names. Sticking with more of what the cursed object itself is though, this abomination is created when some mental case comes along and just happens to mix the blood of a cursed spirit and a human. During the Meiji era, there was a woman with a special genetic composition allowing her to bear a half-human and half-cursed child. After being kicked out of her family, she and her child fled to a temple where Jujutsu sorcerers operated. However, her RNG was absolute ass and she rolled Noritoshi Keimo, the most maniacal sorcerer in all of Jujutsu history. As we then learnt, he ordered the woman and her child to become prisoners of his intellectual curiosity. During her time in his control, the woman had 9 pregnancies and 9 abortions, but all records surrounding this and the woman were wiped from all history. The death painting wombs appear as small human-like fetuses that cannot act independently. When ingested by any human, a death painting womb can incarnate into a full half-human, half-cursed spirit capable of using Jujutsu. The vessel can be anyone, even a human with 0 innate talents or the potential to become a sorcerer. Fully incarnated death painting wombs are considered to be on the level of a special grade curse spirit. Due to their flesh and blood bodies, these beings can be seen by normal humans, and even sorcerers can have trouble telling whether or not they are curse spirits or curse users. Unlike curse spirits though, their bodies do not disappear after death. Next up in the list of wacky cursed objects, we've got the awed-over anti-tracking device NordVPN. If you're an absolute menace like Kenjaku and need to hide yourself from the constant flow of spies, then this is the perfect one for you. NordVPN is goated, and I myself even use it on a daily basis. With you being able to use it on up to 6 simultaneous devices, it makes browsing safer and smoother by identifying corrupted or dangerous files, and stops anyone from using it from going on hacked websites. On top of this, it somehow manages to multitask, concealing your IP, virtual location, and protects you from North Korean cyber attacks of the highest level. Personally, I've always used NordVPN to just protect my data, as it would suck more than anything to have my passwords and subsequently channels stolen. I honestly don't even know what I'd do. I do also find though, with me being here in New Zealand, we are super limited on the amount of shows that get released, so NordVPN helps with jumping the ditch to Oz for better shows or to Japan for my anime fix. To celebrate NordVPN turning 12 years old now, which is actually insane, little man's growing up, they've dropped a rare, almost as if it's a once a year birthday deal. To get access to the exclusive birthday deal, go to https://nordvpn.com/Diavolo to get the 2-year plan plus 4 extra months and a 3-month coupon. It's risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. That's the 2-year plan plus an extra 4 months along with a 3-month coupon, all on a money-back guarantee. Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Next up on the whack cursed creations inside of Jujutsu Kaisen, we've got Gojo's home, and I assume where every other member of the Gojo clan must be hiding, the prison realm. The prison realm is an item created from the final remains of the Buddhist monk Genshin. Due to this object being a living barrier, it's so incredibly powerful that there's nothing it cannot seal. For added context on who this monk was, Genshin Impact the monk was the most impactful monk of a number of scholar monks from the Buddhist Tendai sect active during the 10th and 11th centuries in Japan. Pretty much, he was the goat of goats when it comes to monks. In turn, this lines up with around the beginning of the Heian era, or 12 to 1300 years ago. The curse is activated with the incantation Gates Open. On command, the cube opens into a massive flesh stretched out by 4 corners with the remains of the cube at each edge. Conditions must be met for the prison realm to activate. In order for the target to be sealed, they must be kept within a 4-meter radius for 1 minute's worth of time inside their mind for the cursed object to take a hold. The next stage of sealing involves the massive flesh transferring the target's body inside of the cube, ensnaring them. This renders them immobile and unable to access any of their cursed energy. The sealing process can be completed with the command Gate Close, reversing the prison realm into its small form, trapping the target inside indefinitely. Sadly, the Gojo clan can't be hiding in there with him, as only one occupant can actually be contained at a time. The only way around this is if the person inside was to, end up taking their life after being held in there for thousands of years or something, and then the prison realm could be used. Otherwise, it's just like impenetrable. It's basically a doorstop though once someone is trapped inside. Only way you can escape is if someone takes the gate from behind and comes through the back door, if you catch my drift. The back or the back gate of the prison realm was initially intended to be hidden from existence by Tengen. This, she thought, would in turn hide the front door as well. However, this ended up failing after Kenjaku found the gate overseas. Before the front gate is sealed, the back is actually able to access the realm at any time. Once the prison realm has sealed something inside, the authority to open it up again lays with the one who holds the front door. The only way around this is that someone would need to break open the back door with a tool or a curse technique that can nullify abilities. Speaking of a curse tool that would actually be able to nullify it if it still existed, the Black Rope is a mysterious curse tool imbued with a curse with the ability to disrupt and cancel out the effects of other curse techniques. According to Big Miguel, it was apparently woven by his clan of sorcerers in Africa over the course of several decades. As a curse tool infused with a curse technique, the Black Rope's strength is comparable to that of a special grade curse tool. The only downside to this tool is that the rope burns away every time its own curse technique is used, making it smaller with every hit until eventually nothing is left. hence why it was never an option to use the rope on the back door, as after JJK 0 and Yuta's trip to Africa, it was confirmed to be lost and it would take far too long for the clan to even make more. As a first year student, Maki's signature weapon was a red Naginata cursed tool with gold ends and a pink cloth. She used this weapon to exorcise several cursed spirits, but it was broken in her fight with Suguru Geto. Due to her obviously being given a low rank of grade 4 at the time, it's safe to assume that the bladed weapon was also a low ranking tool. Sticking with our girl before she got one of the biggest glow-ups in the series, and because of her extremely limited amount of curse energy, she was never actually able to see curse spirits. To get around this, her glasses are actually a curse tool that grants her these abilities. She wasn't particularly fond of the first pair that she owned, and they happened to get broken in her fight with Suguru Geto. She then later replaced her original glasses and used a new pair until they were also broken in Shibuya. After the Shibuya incident ended, Maki replaced her glasses once again. This pair was similar to the first, more round in shape. However, she broke this pair as well during her confrontation with her father in the Zenin clan part of the story. Check my video out if you want to see the destruction that Maki causes in the Zenin clan. So technically here, I guess we've seen 3 different curse tools that I can use to pad the numbers even more. Next up, Slaughter Demon was a dagger imbued with curse energy that even non-sorcerers could use to exercise curses. Due to its offensive capabilities, Gojo gave it to Yuji as a way for our boy to fend off curses on his first field test before he developed curse energy. Skipping forward a few more episodes to when they first confronted a finger bearer, Yuji tried to attack the beast, but, obviously his left hand was blown off and the blade broken in two, rendering it useless by that point. Another blade to get destroyed against a finger bearer, not the one necessarily in like episode 7 or whenever that detention center was. Megami's original curse tool, the Jet Black Blade, was stated to actually be superior to Miwa's own katana in cutting potency. I'm assuming it's not a special grade weapon though, and likely a lower grade blade as it was destroyed at the start of Megami's 1v1 against the finger bearer. However, Miwa's blade is supposedly, like semi-special grade, so who knows? Either way, and during the Goodwill event, Maki, just like previously, wielded a long purple Naginata polearm with a purple curse tool blade. I'd say this was obviously an extremely low ranking tool, as it was also used on fellow Jujutsu sorcerers, and you don't want to be killing them. Plus, the actual blade of the item was never even seen, it was just like kind of wrapped in that purple sheath. Over with Dad though, Nanami primarily goes into battle with a blunt sword wrapped in a cloth with a splattered black dot design. The sword itself is short with a wooden handle. The same dotted design is also on Nanami's tie, which he will sometimes wrap around his fist to use in combination with the blunt sword. Kasumi Miwa's katana was originally just a regular sword, similar to how Yuta had that basic one he would imbue with cursed energy. But after Miwa imbued her sword with cursed energy over an extended period of time, it is actually considered on par with a semi-special grade curse tool due to the extended flow of curse energy going through it. Despite being unable to cut Hanami, it was able to touch the being as proof of its power. However, Miwa wasn't exactly wielding it at that point. The most controversial old man in JJK, Yoshinobu, uses a V-shaped, red-coloured electric guitar, more specifically a Gibson 1967 Mahogany Flying V Resu Maestro Vibrola, in tandem with his curse technique. From what we have seen, he usually keeps his guitar in a case and only takes it out for battle. After his confrontation with Masamichi though, the guitar was shattered, rendering Gakuganji drastically weaker. Perhaps, I don't know. It just depends how long he put his curse energy into it, I'd say. I have no idea. Moving forward. One of the most powerful curse tools in Jujutsu Kaisen, the Playful Cloud is a 3-section staff connected by rings. Unlike every other curse tool, Playful Cloud is the only special grade curse tool that is not imbued with a curse technique. Instead, the weapon's strength relies on the raw power of its user and is best utilized by those with a higher physical strength. When someone physically broken, like Maki or Toji, use Playful Cloud, it amplifies the user's strength with the curse energy inside the tool, allowing even those with little to no curse energy to overpower special grade spirits. The dog himself of the series, Big Haruta the Creep, uses a pretty handsy object that falls right in line with his crazed personality. The hand sword is a single-edged katana-like blade connected to a handle shaped like a human hand. This tool was created by Juzo Kamaya, that wacko with the axe that Gojo absolutely laid out at the Goodwill events. Either way, Shigemo holds the hand to wield the sword and is able to throw it with fatal accuracy. He can risk throwing the sword because it actually has the uncanny ability to move on its own and return to its owner. Additionally, Shigemo can somehow detect people within the sword's vicinity, even if it's out of his own personal range of view. The Inverted Spear of Heaven is a dagger with a dope-ass-shaped blade that actually has a small part of it broken off. So who knows, maybe it could actually come back to play a big role in the future of the series, who knows, I doubt it, but yeah. Additionally, the weapon also had a circular link at the end that allowed it to be connected to metal chains or like other things. It didn't just have to be connected to metal chains, obviously. The dagger itself has been imbued with a curse technique powered by a special foreign type of curse energy that allows it to force the stoppage of any other technique it comes into contact with. If a user's target or their Jujutsu is hit by the Inverted Spear of Heaven, it will be immediately nullified. Even the most powerful curse techniques like Limitless can be completely stopped by this weapon. Being able to connect itself to the Inverted Spear of Heaven, the chain of 1,000 miles has the appearance of a perfectly normal chain. However, it actually has the ability to keep extending endlessly as long as the user doesn't allow one of the ends of the chain to be seen. There is a clip on the front end that can be used to connect the chain to other curse tools in order to extend the range. Due to the item's special grade ranking, the chain doesn't need to be connected to something to act as a weapon. Instead, it can be flung around as its own blunt force type weapon as well. When it comes to Mei Mei, she wields a large battle axe in battle that's almost as tall as she is. Since Mei Mei's curse technique isn't fantastic for close range, she utilizes the axe for upfront confrontations. The ranking of the axe or its technique, if it has one, are unknown. However, I assume that it's probably one of a higher rank, otherwise it would have been destroyed early on in one of her battles. Next up, and actually used by a few different individuals throughout the series, Dragon Bone is a thick, single-edged blade with 3 similar holes in the back. The thing that's special about this curse tool is that it has the ability to build up kinetic force as well as cursed energy. After building up kinetic force or curse energy throughout a battle, Dragon Bone can eject both forces out the back of the 3 holes to propel the blade forth at the user. The grading of this weapon is currently unknown, however, it's extremely potent in the hands of Maki and Toji and is considered to be Juzo's finest creation. Next up, and this is also another one used by big old both Maki and Toji, the Soul Split Katana ignores all physical toughness to cut through the hardest substances and strike directly at the soul of its target. Its full power can only be unleashed with those that can see the souls of inorganic objects, so I guess it only leaves, like a very select few people in the series that are able to wield this weapon. Obviously, Maki's version was created by her sister, whereas Toji's Soul Split Katana could still possibly be on the market, as it does have a purchase price of 500 million yen, which is absolutely insane. Almost forgot to add this one in here, but I assume because Nanako uses her cell phone camera in tandem with her technique, that the phone is a curse tool itself. As we know, her innate technique allows her to manipulate anything captured within the photographed image. It's probably similar to Miwa in that she has this constant flow of curse energy pouring into the phone, bringing it to that semi-curse tool level. Something that definitely falls under another practice, but I kind of honestly think that it comes under cursed objects as well. Commissioned curtains are a type of object that can be programmed to activate barriers with special conditions. Technically, they, like the seals on Sukuna's fingers, all fall under talismans, but in my eyes, they're just cursed objects since they have been imbued with cursed energy, even though it's not the scary, dark cursed energy, or it's not had some bad shit happen to it, you know what I mean? But it's still like some cursed object in my eyes. Either way, the one Juzo activated way back in the Goodwill event could summon a barrier capable of keeping Satoru Gojo out for 30 minutes at the cost of allowing all other sorcerers to pass through. We also see these commissioned curtains used again at the beginning of the Shibuya incident arc, and they obviously play quite a large role throughout there, with Yuji and Megami and other people having to destroy these commissioned curtains. Maharaga's weapon of choice, the Sword of Extermination, is a long, double-edged blade coated in positive energy. For those wondering, it is pretty much a blade enveloped in a reversed curse technique. This makes the Sword of Extermination extremely potent when it comes to vanquishing cursed spirits, as almost all of them will be destroyed instantly. Due to Maharaga possessing the weapon, it doesn't have a grade, but is pretty much comparable strength-wise to anything from special grade. Would be interesting to see maybe in the future, or perhaps like with Megami if he ever comes back, if someone is using 10 Shadows and they have control over Maharaga, to take control of the weapon and use it themselves, kind of like how Sukuna did with the wheel. Like I remember he put it over Megami or something like that. I can't remember exactly right now because it's just me freeballing halfway through the script, but yeah, either way. Next up, the Festering Life Sword is said to be an enchanted blade that mixes life and death. Its most prominent features are 6 distinct firing barrels on the front of the blade that can launch close-range projectiles at its targets. Due to the item most likely being created by Kuroroshi itself, we don't know its grade, but it's most likely special grade matching the curse's rank. How this weapon works is almost by counter-attacking and baiting in a close-range bout. Then once having the cleaver block an opponent's weapon, it can shoot out the eggs and affect the enemy while they're like close range and, can't really go anywhere. Shortly after being embedded into the target's skin, the eggs hatch and small insect-like curses spawn from the wound. This isn't actually the only way to activate the weapon's effect. The same will also occur if the curse manages to cleave open his victim, just, by slashing him. In addition to his Shikigami and domain, Mr. Higuruma's Gavel? Mr. Higuruma's Gavel curse tool is connected to his innate technique as well. It is a highly versatile weapon that can change proportions to emulate different weapons, such as a hammer, staff, hook, and a giant mallet among other tools. Higuruma can freely conjure the weapon in either hand, allowing him to easily switch it between them as well as return it to his grip if he were to throw it or let it go. In the event of a death penalty being given while inside, say like the deadly sentencing domain, the Gavel will change into the Executioner's Sword. The Executioner's Sword has the ability to immediately kill anyone it slices. If there just happens to be multiple souls living inside the one that is cut, then only the soul that was sentenced to death will be killed if cut. When it comes to the most current Megami in the story and his weapon of choice, well, it's another sword, who would have guessed it? More specifically, a double-edged lightweight blade. The current grading of the weapon is completely unknown, as it's apparently the last one from his arsenal of weapons, but I assume with how it was only first seen in the Shibuya incident to be one of a higher grade. Megami first used it against Awasaka after replacing the black one that was destroyed earlier on. So, moving on to the big boy himself, Big Sukuna, and the kind of like sneaky little tools he has. During the Heian period, Sukuna mainly used 2 weapons, Kamutoke and Hiten. The reason they have such significance in the series is due to Sukuna blitzing the Northern Fujiwara clans Sun, Moon, and Stars squad and the 5 Void Generals, as well as the Desi Pacification squad made up of the Abe clan's elite. Firstly, Kamutoke was a small weapon that resembles a tokosho, a single-bladed Vaja. The Vaja is a super interesting real-life item in itself that Gege has obviously used for this curse tool here. In our own world, it is a legendary, ritualistic weapon that symbolizes the properties of diamonds as indestructibility and thunderbolts as irresistible force. Funny when you think about how Sukuna kind of was an irresistible force for Kashimo and he just couldn't look away. The perfection was all there for him, and the weapon that he had and he was using on Kashimo was thunderbolt based, and I don't know, there's so much going back to this weapon that Gege has obviously taken from Vaja in real life. Super interesting. Due to the original weapon itself being lost to time, Yorizu established a binding vow in her final moments to reconstruct Kamutoke with her construction technique. And like I said just before, taking the thunderbolt aspect from real life, the weapon holds the ability to summon torrents of electricity that strike the target from above. Since Hiten was also lost to time and hasn't been recreated or saved by anyone, its abilities are sadly unknown. All we do have is just imagery showing that it is a Trisha-like trident with an incredibly long shaft and a light coloured cloth near the top of it. But I have no idea what it could possibly be. Some people think it could have something to do with the ocean, with it being a trident, and other people think it has stuff to do with wind and air because apparently there's a mythical being called a Hiten or something along those lines in Japanese culture that has the ability to manipulate wind and light and other things. I think it might be Chinese culture, but yeah, I'm getting carried away. Either way, that was the last one from the entire list of cursed objects and tools throughout Jujutsu Kaisen. Obviously, I may have missed one or two if they've been introduced throughout the last like 5 chapters because I have been moving and just haven't caught back up into Jujutsu Kaisen, which I'm going to. Make sure you do all smash the like button if you want me to catch back up on the channel as well and recap everything that's going on there with the fight against Sukuna and Yuta and Yuji. There's a lot going on that I need to catch up on. Like, I haven't even done the Kinjaku stuff that happened as well, so there's a lot there that I need to do. So make sure you all smash that like button, subscribe if you are new around here, and let me know what series you want me to cover in the future. I'm currently covering good old solo leveling and doing that, oh my god, the voice crack, and trying to do that on like a somewhat bi-weekly basis as much as I can. Some of the arcs are longer than others, so it's quite hard to get them out at sometimes and whatnot, depending on how much editing I have to do. But, you know, that doesn't matter. I enjoy it all at the end of the day. But either way, for now, it's been your professional degenerate, Diavolo, and I will see you all in a bit. Bye.